Hello, everyone, and thank you for attending today's Nexternal Academy webinar. My name is Ty Nunez, and I am the Customer Success Manager here at Nexternal. And today we're discussing a topic that, it actually really gets me excited. The B2B online industry is really taking off, and the upside potential for selling B2B is enormous. And, from my position, that's just great to see. I've been in the e-commerce industry for quite some time now, and some of my favorite business cases are centered around our B2B companies. The reason for that is that most cases it actually took quite a bit of convincing to get these businesses or brands to buy into the process of moving to B2B e-commerce. However, once they kind of made that leap of faith, within 3 to 6 months, these businesses came back to us and made comments such as, why were we not doing this 5 years ago, or this makes our process so much easier. So it's good to get that feedback and see how that works. So it's been very rewarding for me and for Nexternals because a majority of our clients who've gone down that business to business e-commerce path have seen it pay dividends significantly. So I'm very excited about the potential of where the B2B market is going. For today's webinar, I'm going to go over a few PowerPoint bullet points here, and then I'm going to jump into the order management system to show you some of the features. I would assume that we have both businesses who are considering the move to selling B2B online, as well as businesses who are already selling B2B online. So I'm going to try to cater this webinar to accommodate both of these audiences and point out features and functionalities that will help you no matter which stage of the B2B game that you are at. Again, I'm going to jump between PowerPoint and the online or order management system. I'm going to try to keep this webinar in the 30 to 40 minute range. So that means I'm going to move quick. However, I will have a video available shortly after the webinar. So you can email me to request the video should you miss something or should we go too quick. I will also open up the webinar to a short Q&A at the end if time permits. So feel free to plug in any questions in the questions tab in the GoToMeeting panel over there. So with all that, let's go ahead and get started. I want to start off by giving you a few reasons why I feel you should be selling business to business online. As stated, some of you may simply be toying with the idea of selling business to business online. So I want to start off by just pointing out a few reasons why I think this is a great move for most online businesses. The first point I'd like to make here is, as with the consumer world, B2B ordering and having an online or an e-commerce presence allows your customers to purchase from you anytime, anywhere, and really with any device. And that type of functionality is becoming increasingly important. To kind of give you a real world example, a lot of the retailers that may be selling your products, they're busy during the day, focusing on doing just that, on selling product. And really to ask them to kind of stop their day-to-day operations, jump on the phone with you to place an order during business hours is really it's not as convenient as you might think. A lot of these business owners are establishing these orders after hours when they can really they can sit down and think about what it is they would like to have in their store. And so opening up an online portal adds a level of convenience for these retailers to allow them to sit down and not just place an order, but have the ability to shop your catalog, to purchase product, to see related items. So it's adding that extra level of convenience. And really with, obviously with the online portal and with mobile devices, they're able to do that in several different scenarios versus, simply being able to call or fax during business hours. The next thing I'm going to point out is the ease of use. Now, of course, shopping online, people are becoming much more accustomed to purchasing. You may have some retailers that still are having a tough time with the technology, but the ease of use kind of comes into play. When you talk about the ability for these people to actually go in and place these online orders. You may be dealing with some large retailers who, they like a Target, for example, they're going to want to use an EDI or integration to, send orders to you or to your internal ordering system. However, some of those smaller retailers, they may not have the ability to afford integration. So they have to be able to call up or fax in an order. And again, giving them the ability to do that online just adds to the overall ease of placing an order with your company. The next point I would like to say or like to point out is it's just such a much, much larger reach. No matter how large of a company you are, you cannot have sales reps everywhere that can reach everyone. Having an online business to business channel allows you to work relationships that you may not have otherwise been able to establish. It's similar to, the business to consumer world. You're able, because you have an online store, you're able to reach to an audience that wouldn't necessarily know you were even in business unless they did a Google search or found you through maybe a social network. So that plays a big part in the business to business environment as well, because there are companies out there searching for product to sell or to resell. And if you have a business to business presence, they can identify with that and potentially become a customer that you technically didn't have to do much work to get to. So the reach is substantial, and you definitely will see a whole new breadth of new business once you establish the B2B channel. And then some of you are statistics experts, or like to hear statistics. And while I won't try to baffle you with some over the top numbers, you can easily just go to Google, plug in B2B e-commerce, and you'll be really overwhelmed with a lot of the information as to why you should be selling B2B from a statistical standpoint. But the year over year growth for B2B sales has been substantial. It's much higher than the B2C market, and it really shows no sign of stopping. One number that did stick out to me that I did see when doing research for the webinar was that B2B sales should have reached the 12 trillion mark by 2020. And yes, that was a trillion with a T. So the way that I look at that, and as someone in business myself, the way I look at that would be potential. So if my general business to consumer sales have kind of plateaued, or they're not growing at the numbers that I would like, maybe you're losing business to larger sales channels, or the competition is much higher, you can look at business to business as an opportunity to grab some of those sales back and reach a much higher profit. So the year over year growth and the growth potential of B2B sales is substantial, and it's something I think every business should be looking into. Now, the last part on that is the higher profit potential. And this is something that a lot of businesses don't necessarily understand, because typically when you're selling business to business, you're lowering your profit margins to resell. So you're dealing with wholesalers or businesses. So therefore you're selling at a wholesale price. But for the most part, your wholesale customers are they require a lot less maintenance. So they are not only, once you get them set up and once you get them established, they're not only purchasing higher ticket orders. So their order amounts are typically much higher than that general consumer. But once you kind of get them on their way and get them set up, it's pretty easy to maintain that relationship after the fact. So from a profit standpoint, it's easy for you to maintain those relationships, and you can dedicate some of those resources that you were aligning before to massage these relationships on a regular basis to other projects. So once you kind of get these companies set up and you have them established for online ordering, after that, the profit potential for those companies is significant. So now that I have you convinced that selling B2B online is what you should do, what do you do next? How do you launch that B2B store? Now, depending on your business situation, launching the business to business store it can be as easy as turning it on, or it can require you to treat it just like any other business initiative. Personally, I like to treat all these types of new scenarios like other business initiatives. So, I think there's just some things you should kind of check over when you're thinking about establishing a B2B presence. The first thing is justify the business, and justify the opportunity that you have ahead of you. Is selling B2B is it going to be require less labor? Is it going to be convenient for your retailers? Is it something that you can maintain? A lot of times you turn these relationships on, and if you see a substantial growth instantly, is it something that your companies can support? So ask a lot of the tough questions, and then justify that to yourself if it is going to be right for your company. You're also going to need to prepare. So a lot of times, if you're just selling business to consumer, there's a lot of preparation that can go into getting your store ready and your business ready to accept these business orders. That can be anything from setting the different types of customers in Nexternal, to setting up the pricing structures that all of these different customer types might have. So you need to go ahead and make sure you have some ample time to prepare the storefront to accommodate a lot of those business scenarios, and then you're going to have to make sure and test that process. The third thing is to inform your vendors. So obviously you guys have most likely have a nice line of communication with the vendors that you're working with, and you may want to inform them that you're going to start the B2B process. Let them know that they're going to have a channel that they can order from, and then kind of listen to their feedback on what they have there to see if it's something that's going to work for a majority of the vendors themselves. You may want to do this, just send them an email with a username and password, letting them know that, hey, the store is going to launch in a month or two, let's say. Then when you are ready, go ahead and launch that store. And really with Nexternal, it's extremely easy. You can launch your B2B store today. It may already be active. You're just not sending anyone there, but it's extremely easy to launch the store with Nexternal. You simply go into the settings section, turn it on, and it's available. So, it really easy, and if you have questions on that, your account manager can get that set up for you. And then last is to adapt. So like any new business initiative, you are going to have ideas and concepts on how things are going to work, and ultimately your vendors are going to tell you what did and did not work. So I recommend adapting to those changes pretty quickly, listening to your vendors and making changes to make sure the environment is vendor friendly. A lot of bigger businesses will take that even a step further. What they will do is they will have webinars, they will send out, specific emails. They will make sure that the vendors are always up to speed with, how to place orders, how to utilize the technology to their advantage, just to make the process a smooth one overall. So, these 5 points here, kind of make notes. Like I said, a lot of times it depends on your business. If you have a small catalog, it may be much easier. But again, it's something that you'll want to look at before you consider launching the B2B environment. So let's go ahead and jump into some of the features. Now I'm going to jump again from the PowerPoint presentation to a live web environment. So there's going to be some transition in here, but there are several features that are available with Nexternal that are catered specifically to the business environment. And Nexternal does an excellent job of catering to your business clients. One of the first things I get asked about when we talk about B2B is password protection. And this is actually a very easy question to answer, but it is something that obviously you want to understand. Hey, if I put in all this special pricing, is it going to be password protected? And the answer is yes. Every one of the Nexternal storefronts, comes with a B2B login panel, and it's extremely easy to get customers in. You simply enter in a username and password, and they are in the system. Now, the login credentials are not only there just to kind of protect the pricing structures and some of the functionality that you have in place, but what it also does is it triggers the technology. And I'll get into some of the specific features that kind of activate once a business customer logs in. But what it does is it tells the storefront, what can be seen, what can't be seen, the pricing structures that are available or unavailable. So that login is actually extremely important to make sure the environment is catered to the shopper who just logged in. Okay, the next feature is product presentation. And the first Nexternal Academy webinar, I emphasized the importance of product presentation and provided you with some tips on how to improve the overall look and feel of the products. If you need to see that presentation, we do have that on video. And if you didn't get a chance to take a look at it, I'd highly recommend it. But the product presentation couldn't be more important than in the business to business environment. Remember that these are businesses that are potentially buying your items to resell them. So you want to give them the information they need to not only make a good buying decision, but make a good business decision. And that's extremely important. So you want to make sure your products are presented in a way that they can get an excellent idea on how those products are going to work for them. So this is much different than the business to consumer environment where someone might just be making an impulse purchase. So much more important to have a solid product presentation in the business environment. The next thing is going to be pricing structure. And this is something that Nexternal does very, very well. And let me show you this here. Oops. And we're going to jump into the order management system. And the first part I'll talk about when it comes down to pricing is what we call customer types. Okay, so customer types are the way that you kind of segment your lists for the various types of customers you're dealing with. So obviously, if you're selling B2C, you have a consumer customer type, but you may also have a wholesale customer, you may have retail customers, you may have, wholesale tier 1, wholesale tier 2, tier 3, etc. So if you have different pricing variations, you have customers who have, pricing structures across the board, you're going to set up multiple customer types. And you can do that in the customers and types section. And you can see here, I'm using wholesale for that customer type. Now, to set pricing for the wholesale customers, there's a couple different ways you can do this. Kind of skipped over a step. So the first way is going to be to define customer discounts by customer type. So if all of your wholesale customers get 30% off, all of your tier 1 wholesale, they receive 40% off. That's pretty easy. You can define the discounts here at the customer type level. You can simply say wholesale customers 30% off. Now, when the customer logs into the storefront, they'll automatically have a 30% off of the standard pricing you have established. So that makes it pretty easy to get that, but it's blanket coverage. So everybody who's designated as a wholesale customer who logs in is going to get 30% off all of the products that you have in the store. So again, you kind of want to use caution here. You want to make sure that they do get 30% off of everything before you establish it here. A more common scenario that people use is that they actually price at the product level. So what they will do is for each individual product, they will set pricing for each different customer type. Now, if you have a huge catalog, that may seem like a daunting task, but there is the ability to import those pricing structures into the system. So you could do it through an Excel file if necessary. However, you can see here when you're setting pricing for a product, if you had a single price of, let's say, $4.99 here, you could then go over and create customer-based pricing for your wholesale customers. So on the next page, I'll show you here how you set that. But you have the ability to say, okay, the single price is $4.99. I'm going to designate a wholesale price on the next page. If you have multiple customer types, you can check off multiple types here and establish that pricing for each one of those types. To kind of give you a cool example as well, we also have volume pricing available. So you may not only sell this product wholesale, but you may also give price tiers. So you purchase over 5, it's 20%, over 10, it's 30%, and so on. So Nexternal has the ability to set those price tiers as well. So I'll give you an idea on how that works. Let's take a look here. Okay, so you can you can see here, I'm now looking at my price tiers and where I set my pricing. So my default pricing here is going to be, you purchase one, it's $499.99. So your default would be, let's say, your consumer price. Now for wholesale, I have the ability to set a single quantity price. If they order over 5, the price drops by $10, over 10 by 20, and over 15 by 30. So you have the ability to not only set that wholesale price, but you can also tier that pricing structure based on quantity as well. So really a really cool way to set up pricing based on the per product basis. And then another way that you can configure pricing is at the category level. And again, this has more of a blanket approach to pricing. So what you can do is you can actually set up customer-based pricing or customer-based discounts at a category level. So wholesale customers, you can set your discount basis. Oops, where did I go here? And then set a price there. Oh, I had a little error there. I'm having a technical difficulty. However, oh, I see here. There we go. Okay, so here you could set a minimum price and a discount amount for all of the items that are within a specific category. So you could do it, again, you could do it at the customer level, you could do it at the product level, and then you can also do it, set the pricing at the category level. You could also utilize discounts, and there's all types of functionality you can set on coupons. There's all types of functionality you can set to adjust pricing based on customer types. So pricing is definitely a very valuable feature. Oops. Okay, so the next bullet point is the visibility rules. And the visibility rules, this is actually a very cool feature that we have. This allows you to set rules that can determine which type of customer can see certain portions of the store. So not only can we affect pricing based upon that login, but we can also affect what's actually seen in the store based on who logs in. So for example, you may sell cases of products. So you'll sell a particular widget, but they also come in 12 packs. You may now want the consumer to see the 12 pack. So when a business customer logs in, the 12 pack becomes available and they're able to purchase that product based on their rules. You can even do things like, let's say you are a dishwasher manufacturer and you have a specific line of product that's only available to Home Depot. When a Home Depot purchasing agent logs into the storefront, they will see specifically the products set up for them. So let me show you how that is set up here. Visibility rules can be set a number of different ways. Again, we can do it at the category level. You can see here, visibility, and then you can determine who can see this product. You can also set this at the products level. So it's a cool way to, again, kind of customize the experience for those business customers, and determine what can be seen and what can't be seen on the site according to those visibility rules. So very sharp feature, something that you'll likely use once you jump into the business environment. The next feature is going to be express ordering. Now, this is something that not a lot of Nexternal clients are aware that we have. It's a relatively new feature, but in the business-to-business environment, this is actually a very important feature. Show you here. Jump into a product here. And you can see on this title list driver that we have several different variations. So when you have a lot of attributes, that's okay if I'm purchasing one of these. However, in a business environment, I may be purchasing 10 of these items. Kind of going through the process of selecting those attributes and adding to cart just might be something that's a little more tedious than you want to provide to your business customers. So the express ordering option allows the shopper to add in, quantities of the items that they would like for all of the variations. Now, this one has a significant amount of variations, but if you didn't have this much, obviously it'd be a little bit shorter. But you can see here, I'm able to take a quantity of 9 items and add that to the cart. Pretty easy. So this allows the person to see all of those items, maybe make some quick adjustments or even add to it. So express ordering is, like I said, a very cool feature. And it's actually something that is extremely popular in the business to business ordering environment. So I highly recommend setting that feature up. If you have products that have variations, it'll make it much easier for your shoppers to purchase multi items at the same time. Okay, the next thing is going to be the quoting platform. Another feature that's relatively new to Nexternal, but we do have the ability to issue quotes, and also you have the ability to allow certain customer types to request a quote. So you can see that here. I'll kind of show you from the order management system. If you want to get an idea on how quoting is configured, you just simply go to Orders, and then you'll go to Preferences. Okay, here you can set up your quoting preferences, so you can set up labels, descriptions, determine what customer rank can actually purchase or excuse me utilize quoting, and then set some different kind of settings based on how you want that to work. So you can set this to be, again, available just for the order management system, so for your internal staff, or you can also set it up so the customers can actually choose quotes when they're checking out. I have this one set up to allow the shopper to select quotes, and it's a pretty easy presentation. You can see here, once I get to the final page of checkout, I simply select quote and submit the order. So instead of charging my credit card or issuing this as a live order, it's actually submitted this as a quote that will now show up as in a pending order status in your order management system. So if I've requested that quote, you've approved that quote, you would then change that to activated, and the shopper would be notified that that quote was now active. Pretty easy process to set up, and really cool. But I do want to give you an idea on how that looks from an order management standpoint as well. So kind of bear with me. We'll quickly create an order. I'm going to add a couple things to the cart here and show you that quoting process, because it is something that a lot of companies do like to utilize. Okay, so what I'm doing here is still creating an internal order. And you can see when I'm creating an internal order, I'm going to select quote as my billing option. And then I have a few different options that are available. I can choose an auto activation date. Basically, if the customer doesn't reply, I can say, hey, activate this quote in 3 days. You can then, if the customer has the ability to adjust what's on the quote, so they want to add or remove items, you can set a minimum order quantity or minimum order price so that they basically can't reduce it down. So if you have some requirements, hey, to get this price, you have to order so many. This gives you the ability to restrict their access to adding or removing product, let's say. And then you also have the ability to allow them to cancel that quote. So very, very cool features when it comes around, when it's centered around quoting, and very convenient for you to use. Now, the last feature that I'm going to talk about here are the XML tools. And the XML tools it's obviously something I can't show you because it's based on integration, but the XML tools, what they do is they help eliminate a lot of the rebuttals that we may get from businesses as to why they don't want to set up a B2B online store. A lot of times these businesses will state that they have an internal process or an internal ordering platform that they use to track business to business sales, and they don't want to deter from that, or they're unsure how to make that work. Well, with Nexternal's XML tools, you can utilize technology to get the business to business online store and maybe your internal platform to speak to one another. Really, when you think about it, the difference between using technology to take orders and, let's say, a sales representative who's keying data in, the big difference there between those two systems is really labor. And so technology and the online store gives you the opportunity to eliminate that necessary administration cost when you can simply automate that process. So a shopper comes to the store, places an order. With the XML technology, you're able to query that data out of Nexternal, pass it to your third-party system for processing. Once that third-party system processes the orders, the XML tools can be utilized to pull that data from your third-party application, pass it back up to Nexternal with tracking information and order status updates. So a lot of our larger companies that utilize our system for business to business are using our XML tools in some fashion. So it's a very, very powerful tool. We've invested a lot of time and energy into our XML tools, and really they are laid out to help automate a lot of those processes. So it works very, very well. I now want to jump into some quick features. So I've gone over some of these bigger features in detail, but I want to talk about some of these quick features. And I'll just kind of stick to the PowerPoint here on these because they're pretty self-explanatory. But the first thing is going to be mobile. I can't emphasize enough how important it is to make sure your website and your storefront are mobile friendly when it comes to the business to business environment. If you think of the level of employee that a lot of time will be placing an online order, they are people on the go. They're your higher up executives. They're people who are limited on time. So by making sure you are mobile friendly, you're giving them the ability to place that order on a subway or on a bus ride home or anywhere they might be. They can place an order. So make sure your store is mobile friendly and you're giving them the ability to place those mobile orders. We talked about quoting and payments in a way, but you can also differentiate the types of payments you allow for different customer types. So quick and easy example there is your consumers, they have to pay you with credit card. However, your business customers can utilize credit card or, let's say, invoice payment types. Within Nexternal, you have the ability to set up payment types based on the ranking of particular customers. So customers ranked 3 or higher can pay you with an invoice and assign a purchase order to that order. The next one, the segment marketing emails. This one's actually extremely important. It's kind of a fundamental mistake that some merchants make right out of the gate. You don't want to send your marketing emails, your consumer marketing emails to your business customers. So with Nexternal's Mail Wizard functionality and search functionality in the customer section, you're able to separate your customer types. So before you send out a marketing email to all of your customers, make sure you separate those business customers before sending that email out. You can also, I do recommend targeting and setting up specific campaigns for those business customers. It's 2 different types of audiences. So you'll want to make sure that you're catering those marketing emails to those audiences. One thing that's extremely popular in the business to business market is emails that outline top products. So customers at the end of the year, business customers like to see, hey, what were the top products that you sold last year? And that's, if I'm a business and I'm ordering product from you, I'll want to see that list and make sure I'm carrying those products in the coming year. So I definitely recommend isolating those marketing emails and determining how to strategically send them out to the different customer types. The next one is going to be the wholesale sign-up form. And Nexternal, we can provide what we call a customer integration document so that your designer can create a wholesale application or wholesale sign up form on your website that integrates directly with Nexternal. So company XYZ comes to your website, they would like to carry your products. They fill out the wholesale sign up form. That information, that customer information, can then be automatically transmitted to the Nexternal customer section. Once you approve that customer, you can then change their customer type to wholesale or retail or tier two. They will now have an email address and login to go in and see all of their pricing. So it helps automate the process of taking that wholesale application, getting them into your e-commerce platform, and setting them up under all of the particular pricing. Single click reorders and subscriptions, the next feature we have here. If a customer, a lot of times business customers will come back and they want to check the status of an order. Within that status or that My Account page, they will also see a reorders button. And this is actually a very, very convenient feature. I want to log in. If I'm ordering the same thing over and over again, I may want to just log into my account, see my past orders, and go, you know what, I do just want to reorder that. So they'll be able to click a button. It'll add all of those items from that particular order to the cart. They simply click checkout, and they're on their way. So they can eliminate all of the steps that they took to place that first order, get in there, click reorder, and be out of the door. So it's very convenient. Then taking that a step further are the subscriptions. So Nexternal recently released the subscription functionality. It's an amazing tool. Our clients are just, they're very, very impressed by the functionality to this point. And so if you have business customers who are simply ordering the same product every month, tell them that they can subscribe to this product, and you'll automatically send that product to them every month or every couple weeks or every week, however you want to set that up. From a management standpoint on your side, those orders will just automatically appear in the order management system right alongside your direct online orders. So it's very easy to set up and manage subscriptions. There's some documentation and some video available specifically on subscription formats. So if you need some more information on that, you should be able to grab it pretty easily. And then multiple email recipients. This is actually something that's pretty common in the business to business environment. Let's say I am a store manager and I want to place an order for 10 widgets. I may need to copy my boss or CC my boss on that order, or CC accounting on that order, so they can see that that order's been placed. You can set up multiple email recipients, the ability to set multiple email recipients in the order management system. So just kind of another one of those administration things that comes along a lot when dealing with business customers. And then product link elevation. And this is something that, again, kind of goes back and relates to the visibility rules. You can set up products that you have in the store that are only available to specific customers, or have a visibility that's set to none. But unless you click a link to activate that product, it will not be shown. So this product will not be shown in the store at all. However, if you're sending out a marketing email to your business customers saying, this product is available today, they can simply click that link. That link has an activation technology built into it, and that product will now appear. So there's some cool little tools. Like I said, these are the quick features that I'm going over, but they all can play a very, very vital role in your relationship with your business customers. So I know I went through that fast. When it comes to the B2B sales, there are a lot of features to cover. So let me just go ahead and check to see if we had any questions answered, or asked. If you have any questions at this point, feel free to add them to the questions panel in the GoToMeeting section there. So I have a quick question that just came in. How many different customer types can I have? And really the short answer to that is unlimited. we currently don't have a limit on how many different customer types that you can enter into the Nexternal system. We have customers who have hundreds of different types, so it really just kind of comes down to a management issue for you. Obviously, if you have 100 different customer types, that's potentially 100 different pricing structures and tiers that you're going to have to adjust and maintain. So the answer is unlimited. It's really up to you. Another question that I have here is can you alter the store layout for various businesses? Yes, actually, kind of to go back and use that Home Depot example. Let's just say, for example, you want to cater the look and feel of the store when the Home Depot purchasing agent logs in. You kind of want some of the banners or some graphics to show that are orange in color. And when that Lowe's representative logs in, you want some of that data to have that Lowe's blue. External designers have the ability to adjust that layout based on who actually logs in. So we've got some cool tools centered around that, and if you need any help on that, external designers would be happy to assist you. So I see one other question is how can you get a copy of the video presentation? Just go ahead and email your account manager or email myself. You can see here all of my contact information. Just give me a call, zip me an email, and I'd be happy to send you a YouTube link to the video once it's available. We're getting long on time here, so I want to thank you for attending today's webinar. I know we covered a lot and we covered it quickly. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me directly or reach out to your account manager and we'd be happy to assist you. There is a significant amount of potential when it comes to B2B sales. And while online sales in general have kind of plateaued on that growth, the business to business industry is just skyrocketing. So use the power of Nexternal to seize the opportunities while providing your customers really with an overall easier experience and easier method for placing their business orders. I can guarantee you this, if you don't seize the opportunity soon, eventually someone else will. Thank you again for attending today's Nexternal Academy, and happy selling.